Hey everyone, I'm Jen. This is my messy room because I'm being selective of what I'm doing with my injured hand, but I just was wondering, are we ME magicians? Are we able to bring people into our reality and people with this knowledge that there are multiple realities within this one playing field, a la Mandela effect? I do believe that we pull people in to each other's realities. Like when, for our friend Skywatcher Helen, the Statue of Liberty is now not white for her because that's not the color it is for the rest of us. So for her, whoop, she's here with us now. And then when my cars started changing, and I that first freak out video, sure enough, other people whoop started seeing the car changes as well. So is there purposeful I don't want to say inviting, but is there intentional malevolent bringing people into a certain reality? Now, it can be used for good too, because I love carbonated water. It's free, fancy water on soda machines, and like when I was in Arkansas visiting Sharky with Sunny 3, while Sunny 3 and her son were out on a boat cruise thing, Sharky and I went to a Pizza Hut restaurant. I asked for carbonated water, and the server said she didn't have any in the bottles, or she was thinking I was asking for bottled carbonated water, and I was not. So I told her, I said, oh, next to the plain water button on the soda machine is also carbonated water. I'd like some of that. So she didn't know about it, and but then, she brought the carbonated water over. Now, she was, new to the restaurant business, so, I'm not going to count that never existed for her. But maybe I did introduce her to this reality where there's, carbonated water buttons, but whatever, I'm not going to count that one. But then later when Sharky was up at the salad bar, the manager came over and asked if I wanted anything, and I requested a refill for the carbonated water, and we went back and forth. It became very heated on her end, insisting that her shop, which she's been there for years, never ever ever had a carbonated water button on her soda machine. So, I stayed calm because I knew it existed because the server brought it over. So I knew I was in a reality where it did exist. So I was very firm with my knowing. And I think where your heart and mind is in its beliefs and feelings, then you're there. Then you're existing in that one. So I was existing from my point of view in a carbonated water world. And so I asked her, I said, would it be okay if I went behind the counter with you to show you where it is? And, she thought she was going to win this conversation. From her point of view, it was an argument. From my point of view, it was not. It just was us each stating our facts. But it was like I did a magic trick for her, because all of a sudden the carbonated water button was on that soda machine for her, and she just looked at me like I'm the one that magically put it there. It was very shocking. That's the word. Her face, she was shocked. She was in shock how after all these years, and it's 1 or 2 inches, not even 2 inches, it's an inch away from the plain water. So there's a small chance that maybe she never ever saw that before, but hopping around these different realities, I'm more likely now to believe that she just popped into my reality where it did exist for me and the server. Now for Sharky, you know, he was at the salad bar, but then came over to the counter when this lady was yelling at me, and he's just kind of wondering what's going on. But for him, he also never saw that button before. And so from my point of view, I may have brought the carbonated water to that part of the galaxy. So we can use our ME power for good, because free, delicious carbonated water, yeah, it's without flavor, but that's how I like it. You know, it now exists over there. So, my concern is, do people with this knowledge, have they been abusing this power, this ability, this knowledge? Because I do believe with our hearts and minds, if wherever our focus is, as they say, wherever the attention flows, or goes, that's, I don't know what the saying is, never mind, but something where you put your attention, and then that's what it is. So similarly to, I'm driving, and my passenger, you know, says, watch out for the deer, and I'm like, what deer? She does not want me to hit a deer. Well, I do not want to hit a deer either, but I did not see one, so I asked her to point to where it was, and she pointed in front of my hood. And we were stopped at that point, because from my point of view, I was waiting for the squirrel to cross. And so maybe the script said, at this point in time, an animal is going to cross the road. But for me, it was a squirrel. The squirrel was already passed, but the deer was still there for her. And when I asked her to point it, when I realized it was not even on one or the other side of the road, she was pointing directly in front of me, it was the most slow motion, weirdest morphing, transformation, materialization thing that happened, because a big ass deer was in front of me, like out of nowhere, and it was just standing there. And that doesn't make sense either, right? But full antlers and everything. But then, I mean, she was looking at me pleadingly like I'm crazy for not seeing it. So, well, I saw it. So I feel like I was pulled into her reality the way these other soda people were pulled onto mine. And, you know, when I went to that singles group where they wanted me to introduce myself, where, you know, all but one already knew me, or I should say I already knew them in a different reality, and we had already had experiences and personal conversations and time together, you know. So I looked like a psychic, magician, weirdo for knowing that one lady hosts the luncheon thing that we do after the singles group. Another person was a history buff. Another person slipped me a $50 bill. How can you forget that you slipped someone a $50 bill in a handshake? This was during one of those, it's a spiritual single group where we were asked to share something we'd never shared before, so that's when I came out that I was homeless at the time, and that's when he, after the meeting, slipped me that 50. So unless he slips 50s to everybody and I'm just one of 1,000, you know, why would he not remember that? But whatever. They, I looked like a magician or something. They didn't know what to do with me. The fact that I knew stuff about them, you know, and so I think those of us who see, are we the 100th monkey, where we can make a difference for the whole, W-H-O-L-E. And the 100th monkey theory is, the way my father had explained it, is there was an island, maybe it was off the coast of Japan, I don't know. There was an island, and the middle of the range was, the middle of the island was a mountain range that a group of monkeys that were on one side never met up with the group of monkeys on the other side. Scientists were observing them, and at one point, for different things, but at one point there's this one monkey, I think she was called Lucy, but there was one monkey who, when the scientists threw over potatoes or sweet potatoes, yams, something. They, this one monkey eventually would always wash it in the ocean instead of just eating it there plopped on the sand. And, well, before you knew it, the others started joining her. And, you know, did it wash the sand off? Is that why they liked it? Or did it give it a salty flavor, or both, or what? Whatever. They ended up all eating it that way. And so, you know, someone's idea flourished, but exponentially, not just one by one by one. The thing is, once a certain number of monkeys washed their sweet potato in the ocean, magically, the other side, the monkeys on the other side started doing that, quote, randomly. So I'm thinking this is related to the Mandela effect, that if there's enough of us, a certain percentage of us, that believe something, then it's going to exist and become a whole new world. So I don't know. If others have more ideas of how to continue with this thought process, because I think we can do something. Love you.